What's going on, everybody? Eastern Bergen County, Tenafly. So you guys are doing really well. We're doing really well. We can see here with our Tenafly median estimated value is rising. And there's a lot to talk about because I think there's some nuances going on in the market. And I also want to take a minute to dive into the new mansion tax bill that was passed in July. Just passed. There was a lot of chatter about it. We did a lot of marketing to educate you all on what's going on, but I'm going to dive into exactly what it means for you. Before we do that, I wanted to remind you guys we are running a really fun contest. I hope you participate. It's called the Grill Snap and Win. Anyway, all you're going to do is take a picture of something you're barbecuing or something that you've made or you barbecuing, and you submit as many photos as you want. And at the end, we're going to pick a winner. That winner is going to win a 6-month subscription from Gold Bellies for some amazing barbecue. I picked the gifts myself. I'm excited for the winner. I can't wait to see all your barbecue photos. We're not going to get to taste it, so don't worry if it doesn't taste good or you burnt it. It's just about joining the fun. Anyway, here's the QR code to get all the details, and here is all the information. Just scan that QR code if you want to enter, and then give us as many photos as you can. All right, you guys, let's dive into what's going on. Let's first really start to talk about the mansion tax. The new mansion tax that is going to probably affect at least 50% of the sellers in Tenafly over the next 12 months at least, and I'm going to explain what changed. Right now, or essentially before this bill passed, a buyer was responsible to pay a 1% fee on any house they purchased above $1 million on the total purchase price. So $1 million house, the 1%, they pay $10,000 on it. There was no additional elevated tiers. It was 1% and it capped at 1%. The seller was responsible for what's called a realty transfer tax, essentially 1%. Now, there is elevated or tiered levels of mansion tax, and no longer is the buyer responsible. That's right, the seller is now responsible. And if you're looking here on my screen, I can tell you this is something we got from our title company, which sort of explains everything because it's been chaos for us. And here are the buckets. Here are the buckets right here. Let me see if I can make that any bigger so you could see it. Let's see if I can get any bigger. There you go. So you could see right here. Now, $1 million to $2 million, that's a 1% transfer, a 1% mansion tax. From $2 million to $2.5 million, it goes to 2%. $2.5 to $3 million, it goes to 2.5%. $3 million to $3.5 million, it goes to 3%. And $3.5 million and over, it goes to 3.5%. This applies to commercial properties as well. So those are some big numbers, and they're going to add some serious dollars onto our sellers. Will it motivate buyers because now they don't have to pay the mansion tax? Maybe, but do I think the sellers are going to eat it? No, I think the sellers are going to most likely raise their prices to compensate. And I'm going to tell you that when the higher end market raises its prices, the other parts of the market will follow suit. So I do not think this is just going to be a tax on the wealthy homes, and that's a joke in Tenafly, as I just mentioned, over 50% of all the houses that were sold last year sold for above $1 million. I do think it's going to just bring all the prices right along with it, especially any new constructions, because the developers are simply going to raise their prices to cover this. That's what's going to happen. So anyway, if you are under contract already, and that was a big question we got, if you're under contract already, all right, and you are now selling a house over $2 million, the buyer will still have to pay the 1 point, but the elevated rate, so let's just say you're selling a house now for $2 million, now you go to 2%. You are responsible for that extra 1 point, and you will give that to a title. The title company will deliver that to the county, and then you have to then apply for a refund when you do your taxes. So you are having to lay out the extra money, but you are supposed to be able to get that back. That is what's going on, so long as your deed is recorded by November 15th. So this is a big shift in the market. This is a big change, and I do think that for towns like ours, it's obviously a much bigger deal because we have so many houses that are selling above $1 million. I think it's just going to increase prices. I think it's going to continue to stifle the opening price point market, and I think prices are going to just get higher because I don't think people have any real desperate need to sell. I think this is a tax on more than 50% of our town. It doesn't seem very fair to us. I think it's unfortunate that the state is essentially using the housing market as an ATM. As for the rest of the market is pretty strong. We are seeing more price reductions. We are seeing houses sit on the market a little bit longer, but we're seeing less new listings, but we're continuing to see prices rise in double digits. We're seeing some more withdrawns and expireds. I mean, some big numbers in withdrawns and expired, and that basically means that essentially if a seller doesn't get the number they want, they're going to take their house off the market. Sellers don't have that sense of urgency to sell because they're sitting on pretty decent balance books. I think it's going to demotivate some of the sellers because there's just that much more money and expenses attached to selling a house unless they raise their prices, and that will just trickle down and affect all of the price points underneath the upper price point. So I don't think this is good for anybody, and unfortunately Tenafly will be hit disproportionately, especially since, like I said, we've got over 50% of the houses that sold in the last 12 months sold above $1 million. So that is what's going on with your real estate market. I hope that you guys join, snap, grill, win, and have a great day, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye.